Join me in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please. Where's my thingy? Supervisors Nudo and Hallman are excused.
You don't have a display, just so you know, you gotta look at your thing there. Up there, there's something wrong with it. IT was here earlier.
So what? What are you saying?
I'm just saying, you're gonna look at it here, they're not gonna be able to see it.
Okay, all right.
John O'Day.
Okay, thank you. This time we'll open the meeting up to citizens' comments. Any citizens wishing to speak? Any citizens wishing to speak? Any citizens wishing to speak? Seeing none, citizens' comments are closed. Announcements of the chair, I have none at this time. Announcements, supervisor reports. Supervisor Alverman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple items I've been reporting on throughout the fall and winter. The 60th Street Tower, naturally. Anybody that's been going by can see that it is up. There is actually some components added to it. There's going to be testing done here in early March, and we are still looking at a completion near the end of March. The administration building, the facade and exterior restoration for this building, the bids are in. We have a low bidder which came in actually about $300,000 lower than our estimates. There's contract talks and discussions right now, and the first mobilization on the work on this building is scheduled to begin March 31st. One of the other items, unfortunately, I've been talking about has been the Highway Department and the materials that we have to combat this extended winter. We are now at a point after last night's snowfall, this evening's snowfall, where these events are starting to really stress our supplies. The 2-year supply that we had, we are deeply into. We are down to, I know it sounds like a lot to some people, but we're down to 2,000 tons of salt at this point. The state has told us to, given us new guidelines as far as salting the state highways. We're actually using about 1/3 of the materials that we would do on a normal run. So we are mixing on county roads, salt and sand. We're hoping for an end to this. I see Mr. Sipsma's in the audience here tonight. He probably doesn't want to hear or talk about this anymore, but he's daily working diligently on our supplies. So everybody that if anybody has any influence that I don't have, possibly we could get these nuisance snowfalls to stop. The golf course has been very active this winter. The golf courses and the department. They've been at the Chicago Golf Show, did very well there as far as interest. The Milwaukee Golf Show is upcoming. We're going to be in attendance there. They handed out, I believe in Chicago, 2,400 little leaflets that give people an incentive to come out to Brightondale. We have our all of our leagues at Petrifying Springs are sold and full, and just about the same situation at Brightondale. So we're looking for hopefully an earlier spring than last year, and everything is ready to go at both courses. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Elverman. I have two questions. The first is, you said we have about 2,000 tons of salt left.
Yes.
How much do we use on one run?
On one run, I don't know, but in a normal winter, we use 7,500 tons.
In a whole winter?
In a whole winter.
Okay, all right.
But this year, we're over 12,000 tons used already.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Dodge?
Yes, I went to the Veteran Service Office today for a meeting, and coming from there, I want to speak to thank the administration and the county board for the support of the County Veteran Service Commission. For the past 2 years, I've attended their meetings and seen firsthand how they have helped our county veterans in distress. County Veteran Service Officer Darrell Green, he's found housing for all the homeless veterans through the federal SSVF, which I believe is the Support Services Veteran Fund. For temporary help, the commission helps those veterans. This is a helping hand up, not a handout. Last year ended with $18,345 expended to help needy veterans, leaving a year-end balance of $22.82. I saw the commission research and verify these claims. They're denying some and approving others to the extent practical. Many of these cases are emotional, some very emotional, and gratifying when the help is granted. The commission, for those that don't know, is comprised of a representative of the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Charles Burmeister, representative of the American Legion, James Schmidt, and a representative from the Navy Club, Thomas Fredrickson. I want to thank them for their efforts, and I thank you on behalf of all the veterans of Kenosha County and ask your continued support in the budgets ahead for this worthy cause. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Dodge. Seeing no more lights, we'll move on with the agenda.
Ordinance 23 from Human Services, Finance, and Administration Committee, an ordinance to make changes to Chapter 16 of the Municipal Code of Kenosha County. Hallman, yes. White Frederick, excused. Anita Johnson, excused. Arrington, yes. Decker, yes. Montemiro, yes. Nudo, yes.
Supervisor Decker?
Move ordinance 23.
Ordinance 23 has been moved by Supervisor Decker, seconded by Supervisor Montemiro. Supervisor Decker?
This ordinance is to update Chapter 16 of the Kenosha County Environmental Health and Food Ordinance. There's minor wording changes and then also updates in the fee schedules. The resolution or the ordinance passed unanimously in committees.
Thank you, Supervisor Decker. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance 23 passes.
Resolution 107 from Public Works Facility Committee, a resolution to support a proposed Kenosha County-wide bicycle route and guide signing project in the Wisconsin Department of Transportation 2014-2018 Transportation Alternatives Program. Elverman, yes. Noble, yes. Dodge, yes. Nudo, excused. Skalitsky, yes.
Supervisor Elverman?
I move Resolution 107, Mr. Chairman.
Resolution 107 has been moved by Supervisor Elverman, seconded by Supervisor Noble. Supervisor Elverman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you read it, it's a short resolution. The comprehensive bike plan, which I believe most of you would have been involved in, possibly not this last group of supervisors, for 2025, was a committee and study and a plan put together by a very diverse group of people in the county. One of the biggest recommendations was, and apparently the highest priority of that plan, was signage, so people knew where they were going, what they were doing. In a transportation budget, you don't usually find this type of option. But they do have an alternative program with the Department of Transportation. That's what this involves. And in this resolution, what we're doing is applying for a grant and funding from the state of Wisconsin. There would be a matching by the county, naturally, of 20%. But we will have 3 more times that we'll be looking at this. What we're asking for this evening is to give permission to apply for this. Naturally, it would first come back to the committee. Second, it would come back as a budget item, because this would not be until the 2015 budget that we'd be looking at this. And then there would be an agreement between the state and the county that the county board would have to approve also. So basically what we're asking for this evening is the permission to apply for this grant, and we go from there. But this is a very important item, and if you've read this, again, I said it's a short resolution, but it highlights the higher tech alternative to this signage, use of smartphones to get your directions, restaurants, the museums, anything in the area that would be on. If people that are familiar with their smartphones now, it would be that type of technology. So I would ask for your approval this evening so we can begin this process.
Thank you, Supervisor Alverman. Seeing no lights, all those in favor? Roll call is requested. Getting very good at that, Edie. That is passed 21 to nothing.
Approval of the minutes from the February 19th, 2014 minutes by Supervisor Boyd Frederick.
Motion to approve the minutes with one small correction. The date on the minutes is February 4th, not February 19th.
Okay. It's been moved by Supervisor Boyd Frederick, seconded by Supervisor Decker, to approve of the minutes with the change in the date. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Those are approved. It's been moved by Supervisor Decker, seconded by by Supervisor Brunig. All those in favor? Aye.